Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for being with us today. It's evening in Bulgaria, but I know it's afternoon, and there is Prapul is late in India in over 10 o'clock. I'm very excited to be here today. Again, John's place. That's why I'm wearing blue. It's cobalt. I hope it's shown on the camera. Very honored and excited to have Maestro Che with us today. He is from the Northwest, and both of us, we were very lucky to be associated with Daniel Smith for many, many years.
Yes, hello.
So wonderful artist. He's a teacher and he's also a sportsman. So we share a lot with him. And today he will tell us about himself, show us his art, all the secrets. We are very, very excited. Thank you very much, Che, for being with us. And please introduce yourself and tell us something about you. You have a very interesting background, association with sports and art, and especially with students and young people, which is wonderful. They need all the encouragement and inspiration. So, camera is yours.
All right.
Welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Stella. I'm happy to be here. Very proud to be here. Feels like this is where it started for me in I don't know, 20 years ago, doing demonstrations at Daniel Smith. I was working there. My name is Che Lopez. I am a teaching artist here in Seattle, Mukilteo, Everett area. I've been doing this pretty much all my life. I think my very first kind of memory is me staying in during recess and finishing a drawing. And I, like everybody else, we start as artists. We start drawing and painting. I just never stopped. It made me happy. It continues to make me happy. And right now I have a family, so I have two kids, a 13-year-old and a 7-year-old. I am currently a high school art teacher in Seattle. I teach art and animation. I was an animator for about 12 years, graphic designer. I also owned my own boxing gym. I was a boxing coach, a U.S. boxing coach, and a professional sparring partner. But I'm luckily enough, I didn't hurt my hands, which is good because that's how I made my living. So just made me stronger. So for me, I'm just that person that loves challenges. And one of the reasons why I love demoing is because it is difficult when you're trying to communicate and finish a piece of artwork. And one of the reasons why I do a lot of plein air now for that same during my breaks, of course, my summer break, which is ending here next week. I go back to school next week. So I'm excited to get back to work. It's interesting being self-employed for so long that it was nice to get paid in the summers when I just kind of hung out with my family. So being a teacher has its rewards.
Great. Thank you. And I think Ethel has a slideshow prepared
yes.
you.
So we have a PowerPoint, just short one, Chet, because in our sessions, we'd really like our global family to connect with you, to connect with our guest artists. So let's do the share screen. All right. So of course, Che is also in Instagram. You can quickly follow Che now. His handle is Art of Che. And he's also in Facebook, same handle, it's Art of Che. And the next couple of slides share are sample artworks, and we'd be happy to hear a line or two about each of these.
Yeah. This one was a plein air painting in Kansas. My family, my in-laws live in Kansas, middle of nowhere, Kansas, as they call it. And this was a truck that was there in a field. And it was hot. I just remember it was hot. So it was a fun plein air painting to do. This was a larger piece I did. This is San Diego. My brother lives in San Diego with a mom, and so this was a San Diego sunset. And it was mostly just I just needed to paint something, so I scroll through my phone and I find interesting pictures and I just paint them. And yeah, I love the fact that in Washington we don't have palm trees, so I get really enamored with painting palm trees every once in a while. This one here was a friend of mine. His dog passed away, and he wanted me to paint a painting of his doggy, and so it was a beautiful photograph, and it was a fun painting to do. This one was in Portland. I do workshops in and around the Northwest and also all around the West Coast, and so this was in Portland. And so this was a delicatessen there, elephant delicatessen, and this was a demo I did there last year. We spent a lot of time there eating the food and just painting underneath the umbrella with a shade, and it was a fun time. I really enjoyed that workshop. This was painted with the watercolor sticks. This is Joe Frazier when he passed. And at the time, my daughter was young, and she was taking a nap, and so it was maybe 45 minutes. It's half sheet, and this one was one of the first paintings that was admitted into the Northwest Watercolor Society Open exhibition. And that's my signature so big because I heard her get up and I just signed it really, really big, and usually it's a lot smaller. But yeah, this was Joe Frazier using the watercolor sticks.
Che, there is a question about the size of the painting that are shown.
Usually I paint quarter sheet. Most of the plein air says quarter sheet. This one here is half sheet. So I try to finish the paintings in an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours at the most. So I don't like to work on them multiple days if I don't have to. This is not a commission.
And also, do you use a hot pressed paper?
Yeah, I use a little bit of both. So what I do, because I love I just have a whole bunch of papers in a folder, and whatever paper I grab out of there is what I paint on. So because painting's easy. No, it's not. Because I'm a knucklehead and I like to give myself challenges. So I let the lady luck choose what I'm painting on.
This seems to be hot pressed right now. This one.
I
right?
think this is 300-pound hot press. Yes.
Thanks.
Yeah. This is my son. This is I think this is acrylics on gold on gold gesso that Daniel Smith used to have, gold gesso, which was really, really fun to paint on. Yeah, so this one's about a 10 by 10 or 12 by 12 painting of my son. Yeah. Yeah, so I paint in all mediums, oils, acrylics, all that kind of stuff. So
Che,
yes.
with this picture of your son and the style it's in, I think you probably like gouache.
I like gouache. Since it doesn't extend itself very well, I like to paint a little bit bigger. So yeah, so I'm gonna I need to get me some of the Daniel Smith gouache and play with that some more. But yeah, I either do acrylics or oils. Well, it was all Daniel Smith at one point. Yeah, I just love painting. I love trying different styles. Each one of my different mediums, oils, acrylics, watercolor, they say I have different styles on them because this one in my acrylics and oils is very kind of like I let the flat brush or the filbert brush do most of the work. And I have that kind of style when it comes to my oils and my acrylics.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
That's the last artwork, Che.
Yeah.
You have a portrait there. Could we see the portrait, Che?
Oh yeah, this one here was oils. And so this is a friend of mine that passed away, and he was kind of like a brother, grew up together. And I just had my 30th high school reunion, so I brought this painting and put it there. for everybody to enjoy and to hang out and bring my friend Santi with me. So again, this is oils. So again, the same sort of style I do with oils and acrylics. But yeah, so this behind me, you see my studio, corner of my studio, where I kind of have all my books that I never read. I'm glad it has pictures. I can look at the pictures. And all my little knickknacks. My wife doesn't come in here because she gets like it's just way too much. To me, like I'm not one to have. I have to have everything in front of me. Like I know other artists like they got to put it, have like in drawers and that kind of stuff. I if I can't see it, I'm just like this is not how my mind thinks. It's just randomness, and it all makes sense to my little punch drunk mind.
Artist mind.
Definitely. So
Great. So, are you ready to start your demo?
I am ready.
Okay. And the question will be, would you like to be interrupted, or would you like the questions to be after your demo?
Oh no, talk whenever I have questions. I have no problem answering the questions. As a teacher, you gotta, as a teacher,
Correct.
you have to always be answering questions, and you train yourself to think in both left and right brain, or right and left, whatever it is. So
Right.
yeah.
And then I
the
think
way.
Angela is there, or someone of us will check also the Facebook, and if there are questions.
Yeah.
To,
Definitely.
great.
Okay. Yeah. So let's see. So this is what I'm painting here. This is Dick's Burgers, which is a local spot here in Seattle. And so this, I painted it during a competition I was doing, but I want to do something very similar, make it a little, kind of simpler composition, move this car over here and have these people standing there. And I'll just go for it. I'm excited. I've been staring at this for a little while, since yesterday, and I'm just like, I just want to paint now.
We're excited too. That makes us want to start painting with you.
And so I'm just grabbing some, and I've had the same colors for many years. Quinacridone Coral, Hansa Yellow Medium. I attack the painting, as you can see. I'm just like, I just go for it. I'm not really, I don't get afraid. I just go for it.
You cannot box and be afraid.
No, you can't really do anything and be afraid. That's what I always say.
Courage.
Yeah, listen, it is still the best job in the world to be a teaching artist, and it's
That's
yeah.
that's the fun with watercolors. Just go for it.
Yes, go exactly. That's what I say. But I'm actually feeling nervous because this is how I started at Daniel Smith 20 years ago. I forgot someone didn't show up for a demo, and I was working there and then I think someone, it was probably Catherine. Someone goes like, how you can paint. Why don't you go up there and paint? And let's just say it wasn't people still talk about that being, I was so uncomfortable doing it the first time. So
May I ask what the type of camera you use?
my phone.
Okay.
Yeah, my phone. My phone is what I use here. So right now I'm just kind of layering. I got my reds here for my. I'm gonna have a darker scene, some oranges here, some little lighter areas. And then inside is gonna be very, very, very pale. It's be the white. And let's see. Bring some of this in here. And I do a quick wash on everything in the very beginning. A light wash depending. And this is how I start all my paintings. And this is the, I was lucky enough to be part of the Northwest Watercolor Society when Alvaro came to the 75th, I believe. And so I was lucky enough to be one of his, I guess, helpers that was during the workshop. And so really learned a lot from him and how he paints. He's one of the people I really follow and admire in his work. I like like he said, like he just attacks the painting, and I love that about what he does. So I'm just kind of I'm pretty much just putting a tone down the canvas here, or my paper. Trying to,
Okay.
yes.
The cauliflowering round the lettering that's neon lighting. Do you find that makes it look like neon lighting?
Yeah, I mean, some of this stuff here like that was not intentional. But what I've learned over the many years is that if you try to fix it, it just gets worse and worse.
Yes.
So a lot of times that what happens with this work is that you just gotta let it do its thing, let watercolor do its thing, and then those kind of spots end up being probably the best parts of your paintings.
Happy accidents.
Yeah, life can be worse.
I'd encourage that, to be honest with you, because it's that fuzzy glowiness that really brings out neon light, isn't it?
Yeah. No, it worked out right there. I mean, it could be, and honestly, the stuff's so light right now that it's not really going to matter later on. It's because everything's going to get really dark, and so.
Do you find dimly lit night scenes particularly difficult to do?
Yes, painting is always difficult. Every painting that I do is always difficult, just because of
the challenge.
And also the different scenery, right? That's one of the things where I love about painting outdoors is that I'm getting different experiences. It might not be that exact tree that I'm painting, but I'm painting many trees that look like that. I'm not painting that exact car or that exact person, but I've experienced that kind of thing, or experienced something very similar to it.
Okay. I assume that you've mashed that lettering off, yeah.
Yeah, I masked it. In what's funny is Daniel Smith sent me like a little questionnaire, like, do you use masking fluid? And I rarely do. And I put on there like, oh, I never do. I only do it when I'm teaching. And then here I am demonstrating with masking fluid. So caught me in my lies. Usually I just use in plein air. I just use gouache or Daniel Smith or just watercolor or just the white, Chinese white or titanium white. But since this is more, since I'm in the studio, I can actually put in a little bit more detail and not have to worry too much about painting quickly as much as I do when I'm outdoors and the sun, the light is changing and all that kind of stuff.
It allows you the accuracy, but still to have the spontaneity of what.
Right. Yeah, and I love splatters. I love creating textures. I put some textures over here that I'll lift up here in a minute. But let's see. Still kind of wet, but why not? Let's just go for it here because I like to show the watercolor that I'm the boss. So I'm going to grab some neutral tint, maybe a little bit. I'm going to grab a little bit of my blue, French ultramarine blue. Nope, didn't mean to get that blue. I have multiple palettes, so I have my larger palette. This is like my medium palette. Then I have my super small palette or my artist toolkit palette that I carry around. Let's see. And they're all the same colors. Like I know I get a lot of like students always tell me, or like what kind of colors you use. I've been using the same color, so therefore I don't have to worry about figuring out what they do, right? So this is my smaller one, and I even have a smaller one here. So when I'm sketching, I have a little pack that I just sketch, you know, then I have my medium size and my larger one here. So so again, like I said, I don't like having to battle with the paints. I know exactly every single one of these, what they do, what they can't do. Yeah. All right, let's see.
What kind of brushes do you use?
I use a lot of squirrel or these kind of moppy brushes here. I have quite a few different ones. This is Daniel Smith brushes here, some of the pure squirrel mops. This is the original one I bought in the early 90s in Isabel when I was going to art school. So it's well loved. I still, you know, I keep all the brushes that I use, Daniel Smith ones here. But I love the point, I love the looseness of it.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah. All right, so let's. I'm afraid
Would
that.
you mind running through your colors on your palette?
Yeah. So Hansa Yellow Medium. I have a couple Hansa Yellow Mediums here. One to mix and one that's pure. Let me move this over. This has a lot more paints in it, but my cadmium oranges for thick details, opaque details. Quinacridone coral. I think these are had reds, yellow ochre, some of the quinacridones, quinacridone gold, orange, scarlet, some browns. Here's a stick here. Here's a watercolor stick. This is sepia, or this could be burnt umber. I'm not. I just when people say, "Oh, what color is that?" Oh, it's brown. You know, I don't know. Sometimes I just go across this way. You know, I don't really worry too much. I'm looking for value and kind of contrast versus the actual in color temperature versus anything else. Neutral tints, phthalo blue, which is a monster. I gotta take him out. You know, that color just stains the world, which is a beautiful color, but just not very. You don't see it in nature as much, or at all. Petrolene blue, my cobalt pure blue, perylene green, and then sap, and then phthalo green. So yeah, so this is more colors than I usually use. I usually use maybe 9 to 12 colors on a daily. So, and I've been using them for years, so I know exactly what they do. All right, let's see. Let's see what kind of more trouble I can get in here. Let's just go for it.
Thank
Hi,
you so much.
sorry. This is Angela.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Your paint box. Do you know the name?
This one?
Yeah,
Or this
both, because we have a question here in.
Yeah. This one here is the bulletproof palette. I think that's why I bought it, because it's kind of a funny name. I think this is
Is that the Miguelo? The Miguelo,
Yes, the Miguelo. Yeah, the Miguelo. Yeah, that one.
the Miguelo bulletproof.
Yeah, I don't think they sell it. They don't advertise it as bulletproof anymore, because probably someone got shot, and so they're like, it's not bulletproof. I think you just call it the paint box. And then these are here. My smaller ones for sketching are from Artist Toolkit. My friend Maria. So here's Artist Toolkit there. This is a whole little setup. Everything kind of sits in there, and you just, you know, it's like some portable setup when I'm out and about.
Yeah, that someone wrote it in the chat.
Yeah.
The small one. Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
Let's see. It's a little bit wet. All right, you know what? I'm gonna blow dry it really quick. So I'll put myself on mute really quick. Give me a few seconds.
No, you don't. The Zoom takes care of that. We don't hear it.
Okay, all right. Give me a second.
We should give him a little easier time so that he can paint, because I think we showered him with questions.
Yes, let him breathe a bit.
Yeah.
How is it in Bulgaria?
Hot.
Hot.
2 days ago was 45 degrees.
Oh, wow. That is hot.
Very hot.
All right.
Okay, Che, so we will give you easier time so you can paint, because I
All
think.
right, thank you.
Okay.
I'm gonna go and just put some make some orange here. I'm gonna start working a little bit on the inside here. I can get a smaller brush. I love my Da Vinci Maestro brushes. It's probably where I got my using Maestro as my name, because it's got a nice, beautiful point. And from what the rumors are, it used to be for Disney animators, and so they would use the point for, you know, when they're making their set, painting the cells. That's the rumor, at least. I don't know, but I guess I'm continuing on the lies if it is a lie, and I'm okay with it.
How high is your phone from your surface that you're using?
Let's see, about 20 inches. That's not, you know, it's I got like a little holder.
Yeah.
And it's great because everybody has a phone, you know. I don't have to get an extra camera. It really worked out really well when I was.
I use my phone also for all my videos recording my classes. Yeah. Works really well.
It really does. And I paint very loose. I don't less is more. And if I really want detail, I just splatter color on top of it. That's my detail, splattering.
That brush has a really nice point.
Oh, the Maestro, Da Vinci Maestro. Oh my goodness. Forget about it. It's beautiful. Look at that. It's surgical.
Yeah.
This one too. That, oh, it makes me want to cry. It's so beautiful. Let's see. All right, let's see what else. Put some grays in here before I put really some darks. So I'm just kind of building up the light values. Maybe some little bit of yellow ochre in there. Like this is like I don't know, just random little shapes in the background a little bit. Now I'm not sure what they are, and I kind of prefer not knowing what they are. They're just little things back there, because I know right now it looks kind of like it's not dark enough, but once I lay down these heavy darks, everything is just going to pop. So it's like you
imagine it.
Yeah, you paint enough, you kind of know, I've already painted this painting in my head already, thinking about what I was going to do. I tend to do that a lot. I think most artists, actually, I don't know. That's a good question. Do you guys already paint it in your head before you begin?
Even dream about it.
Okay, good. I'm glad. See, this is what makes art so beautiful, is that we all kind of in the same, we also think the same.
Che. Che.
Yes.
Yeah, I do that. I go through absolutely every single brush stroke in my mind.
Yeah.
I've got a vision of what it is. And unfortunately, reality is quite a distance away from what I end up thinking. I'm a better art thinker than I am an artist.
Oh, I doubt that. Thinking, I think sometimes what the problem, what the thing is that we have an idea of what we want. We just have good taste as an artist, right?
Yeah.
And it really doesn't really, people always ask me, it's like, do you like your paintings? I'm like, I honestly don't. I actually don't usually like my paintings because I have an idea in my mind, and sometimes I can't get that idea expressed in how I wanted it. So a lot of times we are our hardest judge on ourselves. But I've learned over the years that whenever somebody like wants to buy a painting, and they're like, "What do you think of this painting?" Or they see me on painting outdoors, and they're like, "I would love to buy that." I say, "Sure." And I think one time I go, well, they asked me, how, if I liked it, and I said, well, I kind of don't. This and that, this and that, and they ended up just kind of walking away. And what I learned is that if someone's, it's in the eye of the beholder, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
I kind of put my own idea, my own kind of frustration from the painting, or it could have been this, sitting there in the sun for too long, and that person could have enjoyed the painting, and so I learned just to tell everybody, yeah, this is my favorite painting.
I've got a similar painting that I absolutely hate. It's my arch nemesis. It's one I hated painting, and it don't look nice at all. But every time I show it to people, it's the one that it perks their head up, and it makes them go, "Oh, I love that." And you think, why? It's so frustrating, but we've got to learn that it's not always about our taste, is it?
Right. And speaking about taste, every painting that I love is still on my walls. Every painting that I love are still on my walls. The stuff that I'm like not really happy with are all sold or gone. So either I have bad taste or something. I'm not sure. So
I think you've got a great system going there. Hang on to the ones you like and sell. Sell the ones you're not so keen on. Go for it.
Maybe so. Man, I never thought about that way.
The retirement package, your best one.
Exactly. Let's see. All right. So now I'm going to kind of put into, and I noticed myself kind of getting caught up in like little details, and I don't like details. Is not, and I'm sitting down too. Usually stand up.
Can you tell us a little bit about your posture? I noticed you had a little piece of tape underneath one end of your painting.
Yeah, I just tape it down to the board. Is that what you're talking about?
Is it at a slight angle?
What's that?
Or is it flat?
No, it's an angle. I have a roll of tape. Yeah, a roll of tape underneath, just to give it a little bit of an angle.
And obviously, we can see that you stood up. Is that something you do regularly, or?
Yeah, I paint standing up. I never sit down. I hardly ever sit down when I'm painting. Even in my main table is an old Boeing drafting table.
Right.
Very tall, and so I just sit there, and I don't like sitting down. It just I just like to move around, get my steps in.
when you get used to a proper drafting table, an architect's drafting table, it's really difficult to adjust to a seating
Yeah.
position.
No, exactly.
Che, you have 25 minutes more, and I think we interrupt you too much.
Oh
And-
no, it's all good. Oh, is that it? Oh, I might stop. I might just finish early.
Good.
5 minutes. Oh my goodness. I might just get some coffee
Not,
really quick.
not to make you nervous.
I used to get punched in the face for a living. You kidding me? This is easy stuff. This is easy. All right, let's see. All right, fine. I'll stop messing around. I would have been playing around a little bit.
No, our fault. We're interrupting you too much.
Oh, not at all. I enjoy it. This is what I love. This is what I love.
Anytime you're told not to make you nervous, you get a lot more nervous.
Oh, and like I said, I don't get nervous too much. Try not to, at least. Life is good. I'm a teaching artist. I mean, I have the best job in the world.
Amen. So do I.
Yep. So to me, I am content. I might not be rich, but I'm happy. When I go to sleep, I pass out. All right, put some blue in here.
Hey, do you listen to music when you paint outside plein air?
Yes, I have my ear pods in. I listen to I have two types of music that I listen to. Either if I'm just kind of feeling kind of a little bit like relaxed, I play Mana or any sort of like old 90s R&B.
But now you mean the Mexican group.
Yep, Mana, yep. Or if I'm feeling I'm feeling aggressive, I play Rage Against the Machine. So, or I listen to Howard Stern or some sort of podcast that make me laugh. So it just depends on my mood. I used to listen to a lot. Well, I used to do more listen to more when I was doing like YouTube videos, but then YouTube would block them since they were,
Exactly. You have to listen to them in your earplugs.
Yeah. So, but all right. Talk to me. What's up?
With this particular type of painting, are you inspired by Opus? Yeah, Opus paintings.
Oh, I guess I don't know if I am. I'm inspired by just the nostalgia of what I'm painting. I guess for me, when I was in art school, I think they tried to pigeonhole me since I'm a Chicano Mexican American. They're like, oh, you should look at Chicano painters. You should kind of, look at what the kind of work they do. And I was kind of offended by that a little bit because I'm a painter. I just happen to be a Chicano painter. And being Mexican American, I don't like being pigeonholed. I don't like being told this is how you're supposed to do something. One of the reasons why I guess that dress the way I dress, that talk the way I talk, I am just me. And I try not to be pigeonholed, I guess.
As you draw closer to ourselves from the people in the background, how are you going to achieve like a sense of depth?
Yeah, I'm gonna have these are going to be really dark here. And I'm kind of seeing you kind of build up slowly, and and so I'm going to start creating, some of these silhouettes here are going to be really dark here. I'm going to get this bottom wet here to get my reflections. Oh.
How long have
I'm
how
open.
long,
Sorry. Go on.
go ahead.
No, go on.
How long have you been painting with watercolors?
My high school art teacher was a watercolorist. So Pam Olson, is the reason why I paint in watercolors.
Mhm.
I remember my first experience in it, and she had this I guess quail, like this still life of this quail, and I remember just standing there as she's painting, and just my mouth just fell open, just kind of like, she was she is still an amazing watercolorist, and she just made it look so easy and so effortless, and I've never seen anyone paint like that in my life. And even to this day, I try to replicate what she did, to how she inspired me in what I do. So in reality, I'm always trying to be just like her. And how, I want to give that kind of inspiration to my students when they see something and they kind of go, Mr. Lopez, you make it look so easy. I'm like, well, thank you, but it's not. What it is it's just years and years of practice.
Yeah.
And I want to give them that sense of like when I was such a wee lad, seeing her paint was the most eye-opening experience I've ever had in my life. And I've only had two of those in my life. One was hers, and the second one was I was in Italy in 2007, and I saw a Van Gogh. It was at a show, and it was called The Peasant. And I remember just going around the corner and then just stood there in awe of this painting, of this Van Gogh. And my wife, my mom go, you were staying there for close to 30 minutes. And to me, it was just like, it didn't seem that long, but I was just in awe of this painting. And unfortunately, it wasn't for sale, but yeah, it was an inspiring experience. And I tell my students, I said, I hope you guys have that experience, seeing something so beautiful that it just almost changes your life. So there's that reflection, very colorful reflection. Let's get some water on there. Let's see what else happens.
Hi, Che. Are you doing a free version of your reference photo?
Am I doing what?
Free.
Oh yeah. I can post it. I can post it. Yes.
Thank you.
And yeah, I do a lot of my own. I take tons of pictures. I don't like now. I no longer, when I go on vacation, and I just kind of do sketches and those kind of things. I do a lot of plein air work. I did, unfortunately, with my family, went to San Diego, didn't really get a chance to paint anything, but I was able to, on the plane ride, I was able to do just a quick sketch here of one of the beaches, I think Coronado Beach, San Diego. So, quick little sketches when I get a chance.
I was just painting there.
Oh man, it's beautiful.
So when you're here down in San Diego, hit me up. We'll go paint.
Hey, what's your name? Who's that? I'm gonna write your name down. Who that?
Gabrielle.
Okay, all right. Yeah, my brother lives up there, so my mom, so I'll write that down. Okay.
Che,
Yes.
this is kind of thing that in the not too distant time, I'm going to be doing a bit of a road trip to America. And this is the kind of thing I'm wanting to come over and actually take photos of, because the neon light trade and things like that is a beautiful thing, but it's a dying trade, and they're seeing less and less of that kind of thing. But they're not being trained up because they use other things these days.
Yeah.
In America, there's loads of very vintage kind of diners that light up that are great for atmospheric shots like that. And it's one of the reasons why I want to come over to America to do some shots.
Yeah. No, it's you got to go, a lot of these things you got to go outside. Like Seattle doesn't really have too many, but outside, Edmonds, you see Linwood, Snohomish. You got to go to the older communities.
Yeah.
My in-laws.
It doesn't seem to be in vogue, neon light in more modern.
It's expensive. It's expensive to actually create it. From what I've been hearing.
Well, it's an art in itself doing the bending. People train for years to be able to bend the neon correctly.
Right. No, it's true.
We have a question here.
Yes.
Will you be going down to the Oceanside Plein Air Festival in 2025?
Where?
It's a bit far. It's I don't know.
In California?
Probably.
I really do want to go down to these places. And my youngest is 7, and he's special needs. So a lot of times I spend a lot of time with him, or with my family. But I always say, spend the time right now, because eventually I'll have nothing but time. And then as a parent, you want to make sure that you really enjoy this time with your kids. But yeah, at some point, I told my wife is that I'm not going to be around too much. I'll be around traveling and painting and doing all sorts of stuff, doing what I love.
Yes, that is near San Diego.
Yes, yeah, I do. I wanted to paint so badly in San Diego, so badly, but just couldn't get away, couldn't step away, and I kind of felt bad. I was like, oh, my kids, and we'll go for a walk or whatever. But that's fine. Yeah. Yeah. What I would say, enjoy the kids. I'll have plenty of time to paint. When my daughter's, 13, I got to start showing her how to drive pretty soon. That's going to be interesting. Yeah, it looks like a hot mess right now. I love it.
It'll be a lot easier to show her how to paint.
Well, she's a little bit of an artist. She does paint a lot. One of the things I remember is that when I was actually Joe Frazier, it was on an easel, and that wasn't, it was a different painting, but with watercolor sticks, and I would just put the sticks in my hand and start to I guess paint away, and then the watercolor sticks, as I'm using them kind of like this, I would just flick it, and it would just fall into her hair. And then I gave her a bath that evening, and I remember her hair was just like running full of color coming down, and I was like, look, Milagros, you got watercolor in your veins, you got it in your soul. So my daughter has been painting, and actually has sold some paintings to some of my collector friends, which is sweet. Okay. This is the hot mess stage, which I love.
I would love to see a demo using the sticks, the crayons.
Oh, they're not crayons. I remember when I was working at Daniel Smith, and like, it's not crayons. So,
No,
the
but,
Daniel-
but I would like to see a whole painting done with that technique. You know, just
yeah.
There are many demos. You can go on YouTube and see a lot of demos with the sticks, because they're paints, really.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but thank you. I'll do that. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think I did a demo with them when they first came out for Daniel Smith, and I think they're still. I'm not sure they're still around, but that demo's around still. But it was I did a Day of the Dead kind of skulls kind of thing, calaveras, and also did a hot pepper, a pepper using the sticks. That could be on my Art of Chet page. I don't know. You look, I'm punchy. Don't mind me. I'm just being hit too much. I say that a lot.
You know, Rajat does a lot of paintings, full paintings with sticks, and there is in the YouTube channel of Daniel Smith, there must be, that demo must be saved.
Yes, it is. It is saved. And also, if you go on ambassadors and find his name among the ambassadors there, you can find.
We'll have to look up for that link and paste it in the chat.
Yeah, the ambassadors. I still think I'm the original ambassador. I was painting them because I used to work at the store, the Daniel Smith store, and that was I kind of made it my job where I'd be painting in front of the store. So I kind of still, I personally think I'm the original and brand ambassador for Daniel Smith.
Very good.
Probably my ego talking. They're like, no, hold it down,
Well,
Lopez.
you're lucky because I never got to know the original store, and I will never be able to, because now they closed it.
It was a wonderful time.
Yeah, it was sad when it retired. But yeah.
Was in Bellevue in Seattle. That was a long
I was working.
ago.
Yeah, I was working with the one in Bellevue at the time. When I had my gym was in Redmond, which is not that far away, and you know, thinking I was like, oh, I'm gonna have my gym because I was a gym owner, and then I'll work on the gym during the evenings, and I'll have to paint. I'll have time to paint in the mornings. No, running your own business is a 24-hour gig, so there was no painting time for me. And what I ended up doing is just getting a job at Daniel Smith. So I used to just, I would go in the mornings because it forced myself to not work at my business because art is my life. And that's where I met Catherine. And I was there, I don't know, there for almost 12 years off and on.
Well, Catherine has just mentioned that you were the first watercolor stick video artist for Daniel Smith.
That's right. See that? I knew I wasn't hallucinating.
Yeah.
I wasn't punchy.
Yeah. Catherine confirmed now in the chat box.
Yeah. Oh, let's see. I'm so famous. I mean, / infamous. No, yeah. It was fun, to say the least. Oh yeah, hot mess. I love it. If you can't make a mess, why do you paint?
Absolutely.
But one question, Che, the color, so now you've made the reflections of the people
Yeah.
that are against the light or that are dark. But were they dry before you made these reflections, the colors underneath, like yellows and oranges?
Yeah, it was already dry, fairly dry. It's still a little, you can tell a little bit of, it's still buckling a little bit here. So it's still a little bit wet. But
I mean, to
yeah.
make the reflections, my question is, to make these reflections, does the color, the basic color have to be dry?
I got you. Yes. So there's two ways to do it. It either has to be completely wet, or so like the original one here, the yellows, the color was wet on wet. I
Yes.
let that dry. So you either gotta let it dry completely so it doesn't bloom. It's blooming a little bit, just because I'm working quickly. But yeah, we'll let it dry completely and then put another wash, dry it completely. It's about really, the painting itself does not take that long. What takes the long is for it to dry, right? Right now it's fairly wet, and I went for it just because I wanted to show you guys kind of like where I was going with this, right?
For
Right. Where I was going with, what's that?
I think she was talking to somebody else.
Oh, okay, all right.
So for us to make reflections, so the first step would be to have a wet in wet wash, let it dry, and then do you wash the paper again before applying the reflection, or not, or just a very watery color? Do you understand my question? We cannot hear you.
Che, I think your mic is on mute.
Oh, that was weird. Okay, that was weird. Yeah, so you can there's multiple ways you can do it. You can get the paper wet, and once it dries, get it wet again, do reflections, or you can go ahead and get the paper wet, or just do it dry. It just depends on the look you're going to go for. Now, I did read a chat right now about what's the advantages of the sticks. The sticks are, for me, where's my little pouch? They don't melt in the heat, and they are pure pigment. What I mean by that is that this is my stick holder here. This is actually an ammo case that I bought at I use this. I don't use this. But anyways, I thought it was cool because it can fit sticks in there. And so this is pure pigment. So the nice thing about this is that it's like back in the day, it used to be like 2 or 3 tubes of pigment into one stick. Maybe it's 2 now, but it's very pigmented for you to actually draw on it. And so it's just very opaque. And the great thing about it, they do not melt in the heat. We used to have watercolor crayons at one of the stores. I think I forgot what brand. Oh, I'm not gonna say what brand it was. But anyways, we had it outside on one of the displays in the sun, and then someone walked in and goes, "I think your art supplies are melting." And we're like, "What?" I walk outside, and you see this beautiful cascade of color. Some of the crayons were still intact, and then we moved it, and they just popped, and then just cascade of color came down. So the one thing about Daniel Smith is pure pigment. It's like grabbing one of these things out of your palette and drawing with it, but the difference is they put 2 to 3 times the amount of pigment in one stick. And so a lot of times I just use, I jumped there. It's the same pigment, so you can actually put it around your palette. I put it right there in my palette. So yeah, it's very useful.
Che, we are very close to the end. We have 1 more minute.
Okay.
But if you would like to paint 2 more minutes, that will be okay. And I know you will finish it and put it on and post it.
Yeah.
When you finish. But
yeah,
you can do a few more minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of my
Tell
students.
us what,
Yeah, go ahead.
tell us what size of brushes you're using.
This is a size 6, Da Vinci, size 10, and then this is size 2. The squirrel mops or the mops vary, and the sizes don't really match the Kolinsky's or the ones I use. I use Kolinsky brushes. I know nowadays the synthetics are just as amazing to use, but I'm old school. I was always told you buy the Kolinsky's, and so I did. But I've used, working at the store, I was able to use all sorts of different brushes, and so they all are amazing brushes. And they work amazing. It's called capillary action. So they put a thick hair next to a thin hair. So just like, since for natural hair brushes, they don't they absorb the water and pigment, where synthetics are plastic or nylon, they don't absorb the pigment. So capillary action is you got a thick hair next to the thin hair, and that tension is what sucks in the pigment. Capillary action. I think that's in our bodies also.
Which one of those brushes would you consider to be your magic brush?
My squirrel, my Alvaro brush. Alvaro brush, yeah.
So.
Yeah, I have multiples. But I like the red. I like red.
Yeah.
So that's why I use it mostly. But so I kind of like the blooms that are happening here, giving it a little bit of movement. I didn't do it on purpose, but I'm gonna pretend I did it on purpose. So the blooms there I did on purpose for movement and a little bit of reflections. Because if you can't beat them, join them.
Looking gorgeous.
Looking wonderful, Che. And thank you very much for all the information you're giving. You're so generous with that. And I'm sure everyone enjoyed very much all of your secrets and information and the way you paint. It was wonderful watching you paint. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.
Gracias, Maestro.
Yeah,
Thank
it was
you.
a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm
Yeah,
always
yeah.
following
Yeah.
you on Instagram.
You were very generous sharing with us your process. Enjoyed it very much. Thank you.